Chicos, I'm about to embark on the 4th year of this journey. It all began in December 2021, and I was just in a dark place festering the hellholes of COVID, and at that time, I only worshipped one God, my flesh. I was living an abysmal life. I was still addicted to porn at that time, and I remember wanting to get into alcohol and start vaping again. And when I think about it, I'm pretty sure I didn't do anything good or productive. I was just a brainless mongrel chasing pleasures and wallowing in my shame, despair, loneliness, and BO. There was one night that I still remember. After getting a 1-star in a clan war and closing out my Motorola to go to bed, I had the most depraved and corrupted dream ever. And it just made me realize the gravity of my sins. And it kind of showcased the trajectory of where I could be if I continued on this godless path. And so I resolved myself to begin anew. I began my personal journey of exploration and self-mastery, where I eventually found myself born again in April 2022. And then from there, I committed myself to serving God, and I slowly learned to live like Jesus through books and friendships throughout 2023. Now, at the start of 2024, I made a video on my goals and vision for the year that I commit myself to being a leader that embodies Jesus. I wanted Jesus to be at the center of every choice that I made, and looking back, I think we made some really good progress this year. I was challenged and grew a lot from starting up a men's discipleship group at my university, going on a mission trip to Japan, and working on Barak Project throughout the year. I saw God moving in many different ways, and I feel like my relationship with God is just more tangible and more real than it's ever been. Although I definitely faced the toughest challenges so far since becoming a disciple of Jesus, I've also experienced the deepest closeness with God this year. I think it really began when I had a conversation with my sister who inspired me to pray more. And since then, prayer has become a cornerstone for my life and for this ministry. In December, I didn't make any videos because I was just praying, and I don't feel bad about that. It sounds so absurd to be praying like that, like nobody does that, but there's a deeper and realer spiritual experience that I never knew was possible, and I hope I can somehow translate that and synthesize my lessons and experiences for you in 2025. Following Jesus isn't just about following some rules. It should transform your life entirely. I was praying and crying because people just don't get it. They don't know what's possible. They don't see that faith could be so much more. That faith shouldn't be compartmentalized, but be life itself. When Christ calls a man, he bids him come and die. It's 2025. As Christians, are you still living for yourself? Are you seriously just using up your time and filling your mind with things that don't even matter? What is going to make you change? What is going to make you lock in? With New Year's, we have a natural transition point where you can make new resolutions or new choices to better yourself. This is literally a gift for you to consider what changes to make and reorient yourself to the true north of your heart. Because whatever you do, that longing in your heart will continue to hunger and thirst until it finally rests in Christ. I was planning to share my personal goals and vision for 2025, but I don't have any. I'm kind of waiting on God for a couple of things to discern my next steps, so everything's kind of just up in the air for a bit. But what I can share is some vision for Barak Project, this ministry right here. I've been very serious about listening and waiting on God to determine every aspect of this ministry. And being someone who's very intentional with even the smallest of things, I'm going to continue to bring everything to the Lord in prayer and let him sift through all my ideas. But what I know for now is that I'll continue making long-form content. I'm actually reading A Secular Age by Charles Taylor, an 800-page tome, and so we'll have some insane firepower, straight NOS boosting in 2025. And another thing, we acquired a camera, so quality is going up, chicos. We just need to get a memory card and an editing program to start using this. But guess what? I spent $1,000 minus $1,000. So this was just an answer to prayer, all right? How cool is that? God meets our needs and he provides. And I know that in this next year, we're going to have so many more stories of God's providence and his answering to our prayers to show you that prayer is powerful and we need prayer. On another note, we are still far away from the aesthetic vibe and personal branding that I have in mind for Barak Project. And so all I can say really is that we're taking it one step at a time and it's only going to get better from here. Lastly, the remnant. We will continue growing our Discord server and hosting events on there. We just had our first Bible study, so it was pretty dope, and I just want to create more spaces for us to gather and talk about God and pray for each other. The possibilities are pretty endless, so join up. Listen, 2025 is upon us. We can do the same things as we did last year, but if we do the same things, we're going to get the same results. And if your 2024 was flavored by sin and shame, maybe you got to change some things up. It may be a new year, but we have the same God, and He delights in you, and He loves you, and He wants a relationship with you. Just the other day, I was scrolling on my phone with a neck like a pterodactyl when I came across a really cool quote, and it said that those who leave everything in God's hand will see God's hand in everything. I think there's a reason why I saw so much of God in the intricacies of my life this year. It's because I gave up my vision for life. I was more open-handed and surrendered to God's leading. As His vessels, we just have to be open for God to use us. I want to finish off this video with a quote from Hudson Taylor. He says, "I am no longer anxious about anything, as I realize this. For He, I know, is able to carry out His will, and His will is mine. It makes no matter where He places me or how. That is rather for Him to consider than for me. For in the easiest position He must give me His grace, and in the most difficult His grace is sufficient. So if God should place me in serious perplexity, must He not give me much guidance? In positions of great difficulty, much grace? In circumstances of great pressure and trial, much strength? No fear that His resources will prove unequal to the emergency, and His resources are mine, for He is mine, and is with me, and dwells in me." Fire! Imagine if we really put God first in 2025. The world would shake because of the Spirit stirring it up in each of our hearts. And that is what we plan to do here at Barak Project. We are creating a movement, and you are invited to play a vital role in God's mission. Join the remnant, our growing community on Discord, and also sign up for my mailing list to receive my monthly prayer letters. I would also love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below, but that's it for me today. Just remember, if anyone then knows the good they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is sin for them, so please kill the flesh.